welcome to the world premiere of the latest music video of Jonah's Lament. That's right, we are here to premiere Dedication in the Arms of Jesus. I'm your host, Eric Vansel, and I'm here with, I think it's fair to say, the main singer, songwriter, guitar player of Jonah's Lament, Greg Kenfield. How you doing, Greg?
I'm well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to premiere this video for everybody.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it for a while myself, so hopefully everyone enjoys it as much as I enjoyed making it.
Yeah, well, definitely. Now, what I want to do, because there's bound to be some people either watching live or when you see the replay on YouTube and as well as Facebook, they might not necessarily be familiar with Jonah's Lament. So why don't you give us a little bit of background on how you formed, why you formed, what the mission of the band is? Fill us in.
Basically, Jonah's Lament is a Christian acoustic duet. I play guitar and sing, and my bandmate Amy is also a singer. So there's one instrument, two singers. And we play a mixture of original music and Christian covers pretty much anywhere we can go to play them, to bring the message about Jesus Christ to places it wouldn't ordinarily go. And Amy and I met at our church about roughly 15 years ago now. I saw her singing a solo in our choir one Sunday and thought I'd kind of like to work with her at some point. And she saw me performing a special during one of the services and told her husband I'd kind of like to work with him at some point. And we bumped into each other and basically asked each other if we wanted to work together at the same time. And, it went from there.
So when you guys are putting together this album, because it actually has a mixture of, you have more full band tracks, music tracks, and then you have some solo acoustic tracks. The video that we're going to premiere actually falls under that category where it's just basically you and the guitar. Mm-hmm. But how did that come about?
Well, as I said, Jonah's Lament is one guitar and two singers primarily. Mm-hmm. Usually that's how we perform. But as we were writing the songs, as I was writing the music for the songs, I always heard them in my head as full band arrangements. And as a musician, you probably know there's nothing more maddening than having something in your head that no one else can hear. So when the time came to record the album, I had it in my head, we're going to do this as a full band thing so that everyone else can finally hear the songs the way I've always heard them. But some of the songs we did both ways because frankly, I like them that way. And we wanted to be able to have stuff that was on the CD that we could play for people that wanted to know what we'd sound like when we showed up for a gig, that weren't expecting us to show up with a drummer and a bass player and whatever else. In the case of the song that this video is about, it's always been just me and the guitar. It's, it's a very personal song. So there was never any thought of adding anything else to it, really.
Well, that actually leads me to another question. But before I get to that, for those people who are watching this live right now, if you want to go ahead and chat in and make a comment, you have to give StreamYard permission so it will actually display your name and your avatar. Otherwise, it'll come up as Facebook user. But feel free to do that because after we premiere this video, we're going to do some Q&A. We want some Q&A from you guys watching. And then also, I got a million questions for Greg. I always love talking to Greg. We could talk about music. Even before this show started, you and I were just talking about all kinds of different things because
we were doing 6 degrees of separation with the two pictures over Eric's shoulder, which are
that's right,
Eddie Van Halen and Phil Collins. And I did it in 3. If anybody can top that, go ahead.
Yes, that's a good point. I almost wish I had linked that to a giveaway to where if somebody could do it, they could actually link it. But if you can, that would actually be a really cool thing. But speaking of this particular song, so up until now, you've been releasing a bunch of music, lyric videos, actually.
Yes.
For 4, 5, 6 songs.
6 songs, including this one.
That's right. Yeah, I did. So I did all but one of them. My partner actually did the lyric video version of this song. But what actually made you decide to make this particular song? I know it's got a really special connection, but what made you decide to do this song in particular as your first, let's just say, live action music video?
Well, let me back up to the lyric videos for just a second. The reason we went that route first is, as a Christian band, it's all about the message. And when we decided to make videos, I thought the most expedient way to put the message out there was to make videos that were entirely about the message. You never see my bandmate Amy Levos or myself in any of those videos. So by definition, it's about the message. But this song, as we'll discuss the backstory on it, it's very personal, a lot more personal than pretty much everything else on the album. Most of the songs on the album are sort of testimonial in nature, but this one was very emotional. And I decided if I was going to put the extra time and expense into making a performance video, it was going to be for the song that for lack of a better term, meant the most to me.
Well, I think that's a really good way to introduce this video. Is there anything else that you want to say about this video before we actually start rolling it? Because like you said, we're going to get into the background. We're going to get into all that stuff after we do the video, along with the Q&A from anybody in the audience that wants to jump in there or anything. But is there anything that you want to share really quick before we actually roll this thing?
No, I think I'll wait till after the video.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. All right. Well, everybody, without further ado, let's roll this video.
Struggling with my feelings, and I'm trying not to cry. But though we've never said hello, I have to say goodbye. I know I've never met you, but I love you more each day. And I'm trying hard to understand why God took you away. I have often wondered if you would be like me, or would you look just like your mother? Guess I'll have to wait and see. Until then you're safe in heaven. You will never once be sad. You are far too blessed to miss the things that you will never have. I can't help but feel the sadness. I hate that we're apart, but I know one day I'll join you, and this pain will leave my heart. For you have gone to Jesus, and your soul has been set free. I hope that he will take you in his loving arms and bounce you on his knee. And I know that he will keep you safe until the day I join you. But until that day, in the arms of Jesus, you will stay. Say hello to all my loved ones. They'll make sure you're not alone. And the Lord of all creation will be there to guide you home. For you have gone to Jesus, and your soul has been set free. I hope that he will take you in his loving arms, bounce you on his knee. And I know that he will keep you safe until the day I join you. But until that day, in the arms of Jesus, in the arms of Jesus, in the arms of Jesus, you will stay.
There it was. Now I have to ask you right off the bat, because this is
Okay.
something that I've been curious about. I remember you said when we did the video that this is a big thing and we had to do that. When you do that whole little, you know,
Mhm.
thing at the end, what was special about that? Why was that so important for you to put in there?
Well, it goes back to the first time I performed the song at the church, actually, and I'll use "perform" loosely because, as I said, it's a very emotional song for me to play, and when I tried to play it the first time at church, I basically got about halfway through the first verse, and just completely broke down. So I was kind of half crying, half talking my way through the rest of the song, and I got to the end of the song, and it was just a very organic thing. I did that at the end of the song, just just a natural reaction to what I was feeling at the time, and a lot of people commented on it afterwards. So I just thought it should be in the video.
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, that actually really, I find a lot of times, whether doesn't really matter what kind of music it is, but it's little things like that. That was one of the things that really touched me about this video as well. And I have to tell you, it's one of the songs on the album that I find myself humming over and over again
Mhm.
and singing over again. And I think a lot of that has to do not just with the construction of the song, because it is a really well written song
Thank you.
and it's well performed, but I think it's also because it's another one of those examples of the perfect marriage between lyrical content and message and music. I think
Hmm.
that the music really, I guess I don't really want to use the word sells the message, but it does. It really brings the listener in and everything else, and I think that that's what the music video does as well.
Hmm.
It's Spartan and it's focusing more on your emotion. It's focusing on how you're feeling and what you're thinking and everything else. So,
And there was plenty of that. I was getting teary eyed just watching the video just now.
yeah, I mean, I saw when we came back on,
Mm.
you were kinda, your voice is shaking a little bit and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, but I'm really glad though that that happens, and I'll tell you, it's because a lot of times as artists, and you know this as well as anybody being
Mhm.
a musician, there comes a time where when you freshly write a song, the emotions and everything are freshly in your mind,
Mhm.
and I think that's why a lot of times with artists the studio version really sells it. But by the thousandth time that you played the thing
Mhm.
on tour, and then 30 years later you're playing it at state fairs or whatever, a lot of times what ends up happening is you lose the meaning of the message.
Mhm.
Now you're just mindlessly performing the song.
Yeah, I
And
think I think part of that is you lose the meaning of the message, and part of it is you're not the person who wrote that song anymore.
mhm,
You've moved on 20, 30 years down the road, and whatever it was you were feeling when you recorded that song is, locked in time right there. So you relive it to a point when you go back and play it, but you're not the same person, so you're not reliving it quite the same way.
absolutely. Now, of course, before I go on, because I got more to say about this part,
Mhm.
I want to invite everybody that's watching to please chat in, ask any questions that you might have about the video or about the band itself, or if you just want to say hi to everybody, that's cool. Or if you want to do the 6 degrees between Eddie Van Halen and Phil Collins, that's cool too.
Like I said, I got it in 3, so
He did. He
I'm
got
feeling
it in
pretty good
three.
about that,
You
actually.
are. And there are some people watching this right now too. So I see you guys out there.
Well, hello to
So
all of them.
yeah, so I mean it's cool. But one of the things that I think is really cool about just the fact that even when you watched it, you were tearing up a little,
Mhm.
definitely while you were performing in the music video. I think it's really special when you actually write a song. And it's unfortunate circumstances. I do want you to give the history of this as much as you
Mhm.
possibly can. But it's really great when an artist can perform a song a number of times and every time they can feel that emotion. But a lot of that too is because it's very, very deeply personal. So why don't you share with us what happened, what this song is about, and what led you to write it and then release it at this particular time?
Okay, well, going back to the origins of the song itself, I have a daughter. I'll leave her name out of it for the moment, but we were speaking on the phone one day. She was away at college, and I don't remember how we came to be on the topic, but she told me that she had had a miscarriage. Now, this was the first I had heard that she was pregnant. It had happened early enough in the pregnancy that she hadn't announced it to anybody yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so, literally, like it says in the first verse, before we ever said hello, I have to say goodbye. I didn't know this child had existed before it was, gone. And, my first concern talking to her on the phone was how she was, of course. But after she hung up and then I had time to think about it, I had to try and figure out where I was going to put all this because I had a lot of, conflicting emotions going on. But mostly it was trying to reconcile the sense of loss that I had over someone I'd never met, and it was a strange thing. It's something I've never really had to, to put in a box before. And eventually I started thinking about when my daughter was, a little kid and all the things that we would used to do together and settled on the image of me bouncing her on my knee. And started to think about how I wasn't going to get to do this with my grandchild, and here I go getting teary. And that led to, the image of my grandchild getting bounced on Jesus's knee. So as I feel this song start to, germinate inside my mind and build, I had two conflicting thoughts right away. The first is I really need to write this. And the other is I really need to not write this, because I didn't want to do anything that was going to hurt my daughter any more than she already was.
Mm-hmm.
So I got in contact with her and I said, look, here's the deal. I have this idea. I'd like to chase it. If this is going to cause you any pain at all, you say so, and the idea is dead. I won't do anything with it. It'll just go away. If you say it's okay, I'll write the song in such a way that nobody will know who I'm talking about. Because at the time, she hadn't told anybody but myself and a couple of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't going to, write these lyrics in such a way that it outed her. And the lyrics regarding the child are gender inspecific because the child died so young that we don't know what gender it was. So it was written that way deliberately. Well, my daughter decided that she kind of liked the idea of having a song written to remember her baby by, but then she added that she wasn't sure if she'd ever listen to it. And I understood that. So I went ahead and wrote it, and it came together fairly quickly, as songs like this tend to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of opened the floodgates and just let it kind of pour out onto the page. And so that was the deal. And the first time I played it at church. And oddly enough, God has a sense of humor sometimes, a lot of the time. And at our church, we have what we call special music, where a person or persons at the church will perform a number apart from the rest of the church band or whatever during the service every week. And on my next turn to do this, because we have a rotating list of people who do this,
Mm-hmm.
it happened to be what they call Life Change Sunday, which is the first Sunday in October, where people all over the country line up along the roads with signs, protesting abortion and stuff. And it's something I've been involved with for a lot of years. So I'm thinking, okay, this is when I'm going to perform this song. Well, knowing the lyrics like I did, and I didn't really want to ambush my whole church with it unless the church leadership knew what was coming. So I sent them the lyrics, fully expecting them to tell me, pick another song.
Right.
And they didn't. They told me, go ahead and try it. So now all these lyrics are up on the PowerPoint, and everybody can see them, which is good because I broke down and I certainly wasn't singing them. And got through the performance. And usually, like most other performances, you get done and there's some applause or whatever, and you go back to your seat. Oh, I don't know if it was me being lost in my feelings or everyone else being lost in the song and what they just read and heard, but there was just dead silence. I didn't hear a thing. Now, my bandmate Amy was on the opposite side of the church from where I was sitting, and she said she heard a bunch of people crying and stuff. I didn't hear any of that. Maybe I just couldn't hear any of that because I was too lost in myself. I don't know. But I'm walking back to my seat thinking, oh, I really did it this time. They're going to run me out of here with the torches and pitchforks. They'll never let me play here again. I ruined everybody's Sunday, and usually when
right, like what a downer.
Oh yeah, I mean, you come out of a nice happy praise moment, and it's you know.
Well, but
And
here's the thing that's really funny about that, though, is that I could just imagine if I were in that audience hearing that for the first time, where, you have the lyrics up on the PowerPoint, basically, you're hearing the song and knowing pretty much what this is about. I mean, even if you don't know all the specifics, it had to be, really, I don't know, that had to be really, really emotional for the people in the audience, I would imagine. It does not surprise me in the least that there were some people crying because, I mean, look at how many people cry during movies and things like that.
yeah.
Now,
Well,
at this point, when you introduced it, did you mention that this happened to you or?
no, all I said was true story, and then I started playing.
Well, okay, but the fact that you even mentioned it was a true story.
Yeah, but I mean, the way the lyrics are written, I'm sure there were at least a few people that were in church that thought I was singing about a child that I had lost, not a
Yeah,
grandchild that I had lost. Because, the way I wrote it, I was trying to keep my daughter
sure,
out of it, but
sure.
yeah, it was cute. And usually when I do a performance at church, people will come up to me afterward and want to talk to me about it. Nobody came up to me.
Right. Well, it's
So,
one of those things that, I mean, this happens all the time when
mhm,
somebody loses somebody and you really don't know what to say to them. I mean,
right.
it's so funny because it's such a common experience. And yet, still, as human beings,
Mm.
it's really hard to go up to somebody. You don't want to say the wrong thing. And I think
Mhm,
in a lot of cases, too, especially if they thought that this was a personal, whereas it was your own child, not a grandchild,
mhm.
they probably were just like, well, I don't, I don't really know what to say to this.
Now, a week or 2 later, people finally started coming up to me, and then I was getting all kinds of, teary-eyed stories and stuff and about what they had been through and what I'd made them remember and all these different things, and it's like, "Okay, so this song, makes other people feel the way I felt," and that as a writer, that's your goal.
Sure.
You wanna convey whatever you're feeling to and make somebody else feel the same way. If you do that, then you did your job,
Well, I
and
think that ultimately, I think that as a musician, what we're really trying to do is communicate.
exactly.
And in a lot of cases, music, as everybody knows, it's therapy for the musician,
Mm,
certainly, because whenever a musician is writing a song, I know any of the songs that I've written that have been really personal to me, it it's it's a catharsis, really. I mean, it really helps you um get through hard times or through something particular, whatever it is you're writing about. And the
yeah,
same can be true for something that's happy too.
sure, it's a release. You're just letting it out somehow. But as a musician, at least for me, in my case, letting it out means feeling it over again. So,
Yeah, well, that's the danger of it. And
yeah.
it's almost like every single time you do it, especially something like that. And I think what the key is, and this is what I think that you do as a performer. Honestly, I think you do this with all your songs because I've seen a bunch of live clips of things that you perform, but
Mhm,
being that this is a personal thing, I think what's happening is you allow yourself more to be a conduit, right? So
mhm.
you're basically always feeling what it is that you're singing, particularly I'll talk one of these days. If because you're doing more of a ministry and there's an actual message and
Mhm,
it's a Christian themed thing, I think that obviously you're going to feel a lot of the emotions and everything that you're singing about.
mhm.
But I can understand that this being a lot more deeply personal and unfortunately tragic that it can be, and that's, to me, that's almost the good and the bad about doing this is that the song finds an audience and people love it and now they want you to perform it all the time.
And I hope that came across in the lyrics just now when they were listening to it. Is yeah, it's a sad story and a tragedy, like you said, but there's also, it's also a very positive story because
It is.
like I was saying in one of the verses, this child will never once be sad ever in their life.
Mhm.
They're
Well, that's a great thing that you did. You basically took something that was tragic and you spun it into something that's very positive and
Mm,
very hopeful. And the other thing that I think, I don't know if this is an unintended or intended consequence, but
mhm.
there's other people that have gone through the same thing that I'm sure this song could really help.
Oh yeah, and I've had quite a few of them, contact me and talk to me about it in person and online.
Well, speaking of which, we do have a couple of people. They don't have any questions, but
Okay.
they did chat in. We got Dusty Ballard.
Hey, Dusty.
So, what's up, Greg? And then Jill Shona Fisher said amazing. So, you're definitely reaching some people with this thing. And, I think that this video ended up being a really good thing for this project. Now, with this whole thing, do you intend to play this song live? Is this going to be part of a regular set?
It hasn't been up until now because I've only gotten through a song all the way maybe once. To this day, I have a very hard time performing this song.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, now with the music video,
Yeah, now that the video is out, I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm obligated to try and perform it a little more. It's one of those songs that you can't play everywhere, though. I do a lot of coffee house performances, and it's like I don't know if I want to sing this when there's a lot of kids running around. That's
right.
But it might not be the worst thing in the world, but it's something you think about.
No, I mean, without question. And
it's going to be, if tonight I'm already shaky for one reason or another, then yeah, I'm probably going to stay way away from it. But I definitely need to start playing it out more. Yeah.
I hope you do, because it's a really good song. And like I said, I was really happy that I could be part of this whole music video release celebration, be part of the journey with you and making this thing. And, I think this has been a really great thing. So before we wrap up, let me ask you this. What are the future plans of Jonah's Lament, both immediately and, maybe 6 months down the road?
Well, the most immediate thing for Jonah's Lament is we're trying to finish up recording of our first Christmas song, actually.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, we had the music done. We just got to do vocals. It was supposed to be out last year, but unfortunately, Amy took ill right about the time we were going to record the vocals. And by the time she was healthy, we couldn't coordinate everything to get song out in time for Christmas. So it just got put on the shelf, and now we're back to trying to get that worked out. We should have some shows coming up early next year at the Center Coffee House in Ecorse.
Okay.
And beyond that, I don't have anything immediate with Jonah's Lament itself. Amy's schedule is really hectic lately, so it kind of limits the amount of playing out we can do. Myself personally, I'm just about finished redoing my first solo CD.
Oh, cool.
So there'll be a whole bunch of lyric videos coming behind that now, but that's been fun because it's an opportunity for me to take a lot of song ideas and songs that I did in earlier projects before Jonah's Lament and encapsulate them in one place along with some newer stuff. I did some collaborations with my engineer and Brandon Gillihan's his name. Let me get that in there. And he's the guy that recorded this song and this album as well. And another one that involved Brandon and another friend of mine, Roy Caldwell. And Dean Kelly is another guy that I've collaborated with on some stuff. Several different bands and projects I've been involved with over the years, along with newer things. I'm going to call the album Looking Forward, Looking Back.
That's a cool title.
And it's just kind of a way to, to clear the benches and start fresh from this point going forward.
All right. And well, it sounds like you guys, you've got a lot going on, which is great. Janet Phillips Rodriguez says, love it, Greg.
Thank you. I'm glad.
So she liked it. Michael Clausen says, Greg, wonderfully performed. Wonderful promises our Lord has for us.
Yeah, Mike is my co-Sunday school teacher on Sundays.
Oh, cool. Well, see? So overall, I think that this has been a really great success. I'm glad that everybody was able to join us as we premiered this video. Be sure to share this video. This video is going to go on demand, of course, onto Facebook. And then we're also going to put it up on YouTube.
Yes.
And then I understand you're also going to upload the video itself.
Yes.
As well in both formats. So be sure to share that. And, Greg worked really hard on this thing, and I think it turned out great. And I'm really glad that I was able to be a part of this world premiere video.
Yes, by all means, please share this. I feel like God gave me the opportunity to use this song, to share a little hope and give myself a little therapy along the way. And the farther we can share this stuff out there, the more God can use this song to share that hope. So I really hope if you liked what you heard, if you're interested in it at all, that you'll take the opportunity to pass it along.
And you're going to end up doing more lyric videos too coming up, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going to do, like I said, I don't know how many yet, but we're going to do several for the solo album. We'll probably do one for the Christmas song. And beyond that, well, we got to write some more songs and then we'll go from there. But yeah, it's a good format for us because, again, the message is for, the only thing there is, and the message is the only thing that matters. So I like the lyric videos for that reason, and I'm looking forward to doing more of them.
All right. Well, great. Well, Greg, thanks for allowing me to be part of this celebration.
Thank you.
And, this message. And we're looking forward to seeing all the great things that we can expect from you. And of course, Jonah's Lament moving forward.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right. And I want to thank everybody who has actually been part of this audience. We have one more comment coming in. Amy Meldrum Levos has no question.
Levos. That would be my bandmate.
That's what I thought. I'm like, I know that name. She said, no questions. Just wanted to let you know I'm here. Great work, both of you. So fantastic.
Well, the only reason she isn't here right now is because she's not in the video, or else I would have had her sitting right here with me being embarrassed on camera.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know what? You can end up doing some more live streams and we can end up featuring that. That might be something good to do down the line. But
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
All right. Well, you guys heard it here first. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this world premiere of Dedication in the Arms of Jesus by Jonah's Lament. Make sure that you visit the Facebook page. Got the information down below. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You definitely don't want to miss any of the upcoming events, upcoming releases. And with that, I think we're going to say goodnight.
Good night, everyone. God bless.